The stars look different from here. Captain Lisa Warren stared at the unfamiliar patterns through the viewport of the Pathfinder *. Her ship had just completed humanity's first faster-than-light jump, arriving at Alpha Centauri after a journey that had taken only hours instead of decades. "All systems nominal, Captain," reported her first officer, Sam Bradley. "FTL drive cooling as expected." Lisa nodded, allowing herself a small smile. After years of preparation, Earth had finally broken the light speed barrier. The year 2087 would go down in history alongside 1969, when humans first walked on the moon. "Begin standard exploration protocol," Lisa ordered. "Let's make a detailed survey before reporting back to Earth." The crew moved with practiced efficiency, deploying sensor arrays and scanning the nearby planets. Earth's scientists had long suspected that Alpha Centauri might harbor habitable worlds, but no one expected what happened next. "Captain, I'm detecting an artificial structure orbiting the fourth planet," called out Ellen Porter from the sensor station. "It's massive, at least 3 kilometers long." Lisa felt a chill run down her spine. "Are you certain it's artificial?" "No doubt, Captain. And it's moving to intercept us." The bridge fell silent. Humanity had debated the existence of alien life for centuries, but no one was prepared for first contact to happen here, now, on this test mission. "Battle stations?" asked Sam quietly. Lisa shook her head. "No. Open communications on all frequencies. We came in peace, and will act like it." The alien vessel approached with impossible grace for something so large. It resembled a giant silver leaf, thin and curved, with pulsing blue lights along its edges. It dwarfed the Pathfinder *, making their state-of-the-art ship look like a toy by comparison. "Captain, we're receiving a transmission," said Communications Officer Greg Mason. "It's in English." Before Lisa could respond, the main screen flickered to life. The alien that appeared looked surprisingly humanoid, with pale blue skin, large eyes, and no visible hair. It wore an elegant silver suit that seemed to flow like liquid. "Greetings, humans of Earth," it said, its mouth movements not quite matching the words. "I am Ambassador Kelrit of the Veldari Confederation. We have been observing your world for some time." Lisa stepped forward. "This is Captain Lisa Warren of the Earth Space Force vessel Pathfinder *. We come in peace and friendship." The alien smiled. At least, Lisa thought it was a smile. "Your achievement of faster-than-light travel is impressive. Few species develop this technology so quickly after discovering nuclear fission." "Thank you," Lisa replied, unsure what else to say. "The Galactic Council will be most interested to meet with representatives of your species. Would you accept an invitation to send a delegation?" Lisa blinked in surprise. "There's a Galactic Council?" "Indeed. 27 spacefaring civilizations currently hold membership. The Council governs interstellar relations, trade, and development throughout this sector of the galaxy." Later that day, as the Pathfinder * prepared to return to Earth with the momentous news, Lisa sat alone in her quarters. The Veldari had been polite, even friendly, sharing information about the Council and extending formal diplomatic recognition to Earth. Yet something about their reaction troubled her. When she showed them Earth's technological progress timeline, she noticed a flicker of concern in Ambassador Kelrit's eyes. Back on Earth, the news of alien contact created global sensation. The United Nations held emergency sessions, and within weeks, they selected a delegation to represent humanity before the Galactic Council. Diplomatic veteran John Miller was chosen to lead the team, with scientific genius Dr. Olivia Brooks serving as his deputy. They, along with 12 other experts, prepared to journey aboard a Veldari ship to the Council station. On the day of departure, Lisa Warren met with the delegation at the lunar spaceport. "Be careful out there," she told Miller quietly. "The Veldari seemed friendly, but I sensed they were surprised by how quickly we developed our technology. I don't think they expected us to reach the stars for another century or two." Miller nodded. I'll keep that in mind. Any other impressions? Just one, Lisa said. I think they're afraid of us. John Miller had seen many strange things during his 30 years in diplomacy, but nothing prepared him for the Galactic Council station. The massive structure hung in space like a giant wheel, rotating slowly to create artificial gravity. It was larger than any city on Earth, with spires and domes of materials that seemed to change color as the nearby stars' light hit them. It's incredible, whispered Dr. Olivia Brooks beside him as their Velderi transport ship approached the docking bay. Her eyes, normally cool and analytical, were wide with wonder. The Earth delegation stepped from their ship into a vast arrival hall. Aliens of various shapes and sizes moved about with purpose. Some walked on legs like humans, others slithered or floated. The air smelled strange, not unpleasant, but filled with scents no human had ever experienced before. A tall figure approached them. It had 4 arms and skin that resembled polished copper. Welcome, humans of Earth. I am Zox Taran of the Queller, current leader of the Galactic Council. Its voice was deep and melodious. Translated through devices, the Velderi had given the Earth delegation. You are the youngest civilization to achieve faster-than-light travel in our recorded history. John stepped forward with a practiced smile. We're honored to be here. Earth thanks you for this welcome, and looks forward to peaceful relations with all Council species. Zox Taran's upper arms made a gesture that might have been approval. You will be shown to your quarters. Tomorrow, you will be formally introduced to the full Council. As the humans followed their guide through massive corridors, they observed the other alien species watching them. Some with curiosity, others with what looked like concern or even fear. They're staring at us, muttered Frank Daniels, the military advisor on the team. We're new, Olivia said, and according to Zox Taran, we're unusually young to have developed FTL technology. The next day, the Earth delegation entered the council chamber, a vast hall with tiered seating arranged in a circle. 27 distinct species were represented, each with their own section. In the center was a raised platform where Zox Taran stood. We welcome the representatives of Earth, announced Zox Taran. They come before us seeking knowledge and friendship. One by one, the council members introduced themselves, the Velderi they had already met. Then came the jellyfish-like Morax, the reptilian Screeth, the gaseous Yulan who floated in special containment suits, and many others. Not all seemed friendly. A bulky, gray-skinned representative of the Drakh species leaned forward during the introductions. We have studied your history, humans, he rumbled. Your planet has known almost constant warfare. Your technological advancement has always been driven by military needs. Are you truly ready for galactic society? Before John could answer, another council member spoke up. This one resembled a giant praying mantis. The Nithrak agrees with the Drakh. Humans developed nuclear weapons and then used them against their own kind. They have nearly destroyed their own planet through pollution and resource depletion. Perhaps they need more time to mature. John felt his face grow hot, but he maintained his diplomatic composure. We don't deny the mistakes of our past, but we have learned from them. The fact that we stand here today, united as one planet, shows how far we've come. Some council members nodded, but others exchanged glances that John couldn't interpret. Over the next few weeks, the Earth delegation attended meetings and tours of the station. Olivia and her scientific team were shown technologies beyond human imagination. Medical devices that could cure any disease, energy sources that never depleted, ships that could traverse the galaxy in days. But Olivia began to notice patterns. When she asked detailed questions about how these technologies worked, the answers were vague. When Frank inquired about defensive systems, the subject was quickly changed. One evening, John called the delegation together in their quarters, which they suspected were monitored. We're being divided into 2 groups, he said softly. Those who find us fascinating, and those who see us as a threat. I'm not sure why, but Zox Taran seems especially interested in Earth's military history. Something big is coming, Olivia replied. They're testing us, evaluating us. But for what? None of them had to wait long to find out. 3 weeks into their stay at the council station, the Earth delegation was summoned to an emergency session. The Grand Council chamber seemed colder today, the lighting dimmer. As they entered, John Miller noticed that several of the friendlier species were absent. Zox Terran stood at the center platform, all 4 of his arms held in a formal position. Representatives of Earth, the Council has reached a decision regarding your world's status in the galactic community. John exchanged a quick glance with Olivia. This was unexpected. They had believed negotiations would take months. The Council has determined that Earth requires guidance during this crucial developmental period. Zox Terran continued. We propose a protection agreement for your benefit. A holographic document appeared before them, floating in the air. As John read the terms, his diplomatic smile faded. This would limit Earth's military development, he said carefully, and restrict our expansion beyond our solar system. For your own protection, said the Drakh representative. Young species often expand too quickly, causing conflicts with established civilizations. Frank Daniels stepped forward. And these technology restrictions. This says we need council approval for any new development in energy, propulsion, or communications. Again, for protection, said Zox Terran smoothly. Advanced technologies in untested hands can lead to disaster. John's mind raced. This wasn't a negotiation. It was an ultimatum disguised as help. The agreement would effectively make Earth a protectorate with limited sovereignty. With respect, he said, trying to keep his voice steady, Earth cannot accept these terms. We came here seeking equal partnership, not oversight. The council chamber grew tense. Several aliens murmured to each other in their own languages. Zox Terran's upper arms made a sharp gesture, and a new hologram appeared. It showed Earth's history, wars, nuclear tests, environmental destruction. The images were carefully selected to show humanity at its worst. Your species has a troubling history of violence, Zox Terran said. The Council has a responsibility to ensure galactic peace. We give Earth 30 days to accept our terms. After that, we will be forced to implement protective quarantine measures. Quarantine? Olivia asked sharply. Your system would be isolated. No trade, no communication, no travel permitted beyond your solar boundary, explained the jellyfish-like Morax representative, until Earth demonstrates necessary maturity. After the session ended, the Earth delegation returned to their quarters in stunned silence. It was Frank who finally spoke. They're afraid of us. This isn't protection. It's containment. Later that night, John was awakened by a soft chime at his door. Outside stood a hooded figure. When it lowered its hood, he recognized one of the smaller council species, a trill with skin that glowed faintly in the dark. I am Vela, the alien whispered. I must speak with you urgently. In a small service corridor where they wouldn't be monitored, Vela revealed the truth. Your Captain Warren was right to be suspicious. The Council, or rather, the dominant species who control it, fear how quickly humans advance. Most species take thousands of years to develop what you achieved in mere centuries. So this protection agreement is really about keeping us down? John asked. Yes, the Queller, the Drakh, and the others have ruled the Council for millennia. They fear competition. Vela's skin pulsed with nervous light. You should know, Earth is not the first. Other uncooperative species faced extinction when they refused similar terms. Extinction. John felt cold. The Council has means. Engineered viruses. Asteroid accidents. Climate manipulation. They call it protective quarantine, but some planets never emerge from it. Why are you telling me this? You're risking a lot. Vela's glow dimmed. Because many of us, the smaller, newer council species, are little more than servants now. We hoped humans might be different. Over the next days, other sympathetic aliens approached members of the Earth delegation with similar warnings. The picture became clear. The Galactic Council was not the benevolent organization it claimed to be, but a tool for the oldest species to maintain power. When the Earth ship was prepared for their return journey, Zox Terran met with John one last time. Consider carefully, human. The Council's protection is generous. The alternative would be unfortunate. John met the alien's gaze directly. We'll deliver your proposal to Earth's governments. You'll have our answer within 30 days. As their ship broke away from the station, Olivia joined John on the observation deck. What do we tell them back home? She asked. John's face was grim. The truth, that we've just been threatened by the most powerful organization in the galaxy. He paused, looking at the distant stars, and that we need to prepare for the fight of our lives. News of the Galactic Council's ultimatum spread across Earth like wildfire. In homes, offices, and streets, people gathered around screens to watch John Miller's address to the United Nations. Make no mistake, John said, his voice firm despite his exhaustion from the journey home. This is not a protection offer. It is a demand for our submission. The shock quickly turned to anger. Protests filled the streets of major cities, with signs declaring Earth won't bow and free humanity. For the first time in generations, the nations of Earth found a common cause that transcended old rivalries. In an emergency session, the UN voted to create the Earth Defense Coalition, a unified command bringing together the best minds and resources from every country. We have 30 days, said UN Secretary General Maya Patil. 30 days to show the galaxy that humanity will not be intimidated. In a secure underground facility beneath the Rocky Mountains, Paul Harris studied the holographic displays showing Earth's meager space defenses. At 53, the former Marine general had come out of retirement for what might be humanity's greatest challenge. Our total fleet consists of 12 ships capable of faster-than-light travel, only 3 with any weapon systems, he told the assembled leaders, against the Council's thousands. So we surrender? Asked someone from the back of the room. Paul shook his head. Marines don't surrender. Neither does humanity. He pointed to the displays. We need to think differently. The Council expects either submission or direct defiance. We'll give them neither. Meanwhile, Intelligence Officer Kate Lawson was piecing together a disturbing puzzle. The data brought back by the Earth delegation contained hidden information that Dr. Brooks had secretly downloaded from the Council archives. Look at these patterns, Kate said, showing Olivia the analysis. Unusual resource depletion in remote areas. Unexplained phenomena reported throughout human history. She brought up a map with dozens of blinking points. They've been here all along, for centuries. The Council species have been harvesting Earth's resources, Olivia asked, stunned. Not just resources, biological samples, cultural artifacts. They've been studying us like lab rats while pretending we were too primitive to notice. This discovery fueled the urgency of Earth's preparations. In secret facilities worldwide, scientists and engineers worked to adapt the glimpses of alien technology the delegation had witnessed. Dr. Ben Wright led the technology team. Their ships use a form of gravity manipulation we never imagined, he explained to Paul. But now that we know it exists, we can develop countermeasures. As the days passed, a plan took shape. Paul called it Operation Backfire, and it relied on humanity's unique adaptability and military experience, qualities the peaceful Council rarely needed. They think we're primitives, Paul told his team. That's our advantage. They don't know what humans are capable of when backed into a corner. 25 days after returning to Earth, John Miller and his delegation prepared to journey back to the Council station. This time, they carried not surrender documents but something unexpected. A cultural exchange proposal, Kate asked when she heard the plan. A distraction, Paul explained. We need more time. And this response is neither acceptance nor defiance. It will confuse them. Before boarding the ship, John met with Paul one last time. If this doesn't work, it will, Paul assured him. Just keep them talking. Earth needs every extra day you can give us. As the delegation ship vanished into faster-than-light travel, humanity held its breath. In homes across the world, families prepared for an uncertain future. Countries shared technologies previously kept as military secrets. For the first time in history, Earth was truly united. In her lab, Olivia analyzed the biological samples they had collected from the Council station. She had been searching for weaknesses in the alien species, but found something unexpected instead. "It's remarkable," she told her team. "Earth has more biodiversity in a single forest than some Council worlds have on their entire planets. Our immune systems have evolved to handle countless pathogens." "How does that help us?" asked one of her colleagues. Olivia smiled for the first time in weeks. "It means their bioweapons probably won't work on us. And it means something else." She pointed to the genetic comparisons on her screen. "We're more adaptable than they are. We evolve faster. We learn faster." "So that's why they fear us," her colleague realized. "Yes," Olivia nodded. "And why they should." While the Council debated Earth's unusual request for a cultural exchange, humanity prepared for the worst. Paul Harris's strategy required secrecy, so much of the work happened underground or in remote locations. Old missile silos were converted into manufacturing facilities. Abandoned mines became training grounds. The ocean floor hosted construction of weapons platforms disguised as research stations. "We can't match their technology," Paul told his officers during a secure briefing. "So we'll use what makes humans special, our ability to adapt, to find creative solutions to impossible problems." Kate Lawson worked tirelessly to build a network among the sympathetic alien species. Using the communication codes provided by Vila, she established secure channels with those who opposed the Council's domination. "The Trill, the Melokai, and the Exeri are all willing to help," she reported to Paul. "They've been under the Council's thumb for centuries." "What kind of help can they offer?" Paul asked. "Information, mostly. The Exeri have provided detailed scans of Council ship designs. The Melokai are experts in Council communication protocols. And the Trill," Kate smiled. "The Trill have access to the Council's central defense networks." In her laboratory, Olivia Brooks made perhaps the most crucial breakthrough. Her team had been studying the sensor technology glimpsed on the Council station. "Their sensors are incredibly advanced," she explained to Paul over a secure link. "But they have a fundamental flaw. They're designed to detect known energy signatures in materials." "And," Paul prompted, "and we've developed a method to create sensor ghosts, false readings that will confuse their targeting systems." Paul's normally serious face broke into a rare smile. "Dr. Brooks, you may have just given us our first real advantage." Meanwhile, Earth's militaries trained for something no human had ever done before: fighting in zero-gravity and vacuum environments. Special suits were developed that could withstand space combat. Weapons were designed that would function without oxygen or atmospheric pressure. Commander Eric Martinez led these training operations. A veteran of underwater special operations, he understood the challenges of fighting in alien environments. "Space combat will be nothing like fighting on Earth," he told his troops. "No up or down, no cover, no sound. You'll need to relearn everything you know about warfare." Day and night, soldiers practiced in massive vacuum chambers and underwater facilities that simulated space conditions. They learned to move using short bursts from propulsion units. They trained to fight while tethered to their ships or floating free. "The Council species have lived in space for thousands of years," Eric reminded them. "But they haven't fought real wars in just as long. They'd forgotten what combat really means." As the deadline approached, Paul identified the Council's key weakness: complacency. The dominant species had maintained their power through intimidation for so long that they have forgotten how to actually fight. "They're bullies," he explained to Earth's leaders. "They threaten, but rarely have to follow through." When was the last time they faced an enemy who could fight back? The cultural exchange delegation, led once again by John Miller, played their part perfectly. Their request had thrown the Council into confusion. It wasn't the surrender they expected, nor the defiance they were prepared to crush. The humans wished to share their art, music, and literature. Zox Terran had asked, puzzled, in exchange for technological knowledge. "We believe understanding precedes friendship," John replied smoothly, "and Earth has much to offer in terms of cultural richness." This unexpected approach bought precious days for Earth's preparations. The Council debated, argued, and delayed, exactly as Paul had hoped. 29 days after the ultimatum was delivered, Kate received an urgent message from her Trill contact. "The Council has voted," she told Paul, her face grim. "They're sending a peacekeeping fleet to Earth, over 2,000 ships." Paul nodded, as if he'd expected this all along. "How long until they arrive?" 3 days, using their fastest FTL drives. "Then it's time." Paul activated the global secure channel that connected all of Earth's defense facilities. Operation Backfire is now active. All units to designated positions. Across the planet, hidden doors opened. Secret hangars revealed spacecraft unlike anything publicly known. Weapons platforms activated beneath the ocean's surface. And in Earth's orbit, 12 seemingly unarmed ships prepared to meet an overwhelming force. "All my life," Paul told his officers, "I studied history's greatest military victories. David versus Goliath, the 300 Spartans, the American Revolution. In each case, the smaller force won through cunning, courage, and the element of surprise." He looked at each of them in turn. "Now we write the next chapter in that book." The Council fleet arrived at the edge of the solar system with a show of force meant to terrify Earth into submission. Over 2,000 ships, arranged in perfect formation, their hulls gleaming in the distant sunlight. The largest vessels were over 5 kilometers long, dwarfing anything humanity had built. From his command center on the lunar base, Commander Eric Martinez watched the tactical display with outward calm. Inside, his heart raced. "They've taken position just beyond Neptune's orbit," reported his sensor officer, Amy Cruz. "They're holding formation." "Any communication?" Eric asked. "Yes, sir. They're broadcasting on all frequencies, all languages." The message was simple. Earth had 24 hours to accept the Council's terms and surrender its sovereignty, or face pacification. The implied threat was clear. Back on Earth, people watched the skies with fear and determination. Families huddled together in homes across the planet. Some prayed, others prepared. All waited. In the secure command center beneath the Rocky Mountains, Paul Harris received the reports with the steady nerves that had made him a legend among Marines. "They're exactly where we want them," he told Kate and Olivia, who stood beside him at the main tactical display. "Time to implement Phase 1. Eric received the orders and turned to his flight commander. "Launch the greeting party." 5 ships, the smallest in Earth's tiny fleet, broke from lunar orbit and headed toward the massive Council armada. To the alien sensors, they appeared to be primitive vessels, barely armed, possibly carrying surrender documents or diplomatic personnel. On the Council flagship, Zox Terran watched the approaching ships with satisfaction. "The humans have chosen wisely," he told his command staff. "They send vessels of peace, not war." Beside him, the Drakh commander grunted. "They had no choice. Our fleet is overwhelming." As the Earth ships neared the Council fleet, they suddenly changed course, spreading out in an unusual formation. "What are they doing?" Zox Terran asked, a note of concern in his voice. Before his officers could respond, the Earth vessels activated Olivia's revolutionary technology. Thousands of sensor ghosts appeared on the Council screens, each looking exactly like a small Earth ship. At the same time, the real ships seemed to vanish. "It's a trick," shouted the Drakh commander. "Some kind of sensor manipulation." Confusion spread through the Council fleet. Their sensors, designed to track known energy signatures, were overwhelmed by the false readings. Ships began to move out of formation, trying to target the phantom vessels that appeared to be everywhere at once. In that moment of chaos, the Earth ships deployed their secret weapon, thousands of miniaturized combat drones, each no larger than a human hand. Developed using reverse-engineered Council technology, these drones were nearly invisible to the alien sensors. The drones attached themselves to Council ships, bypassing shields calibrated to stop much larger weapons. They targeted propulsion systems, weapons arrays, and communication equipment with surgical precision. "Sir, we're detecting multiple system failures throughout the fleet," reported a Council officer. "Ships are losing propulsion and weapons control." Zox Terran's 4 arms moved in agitation. How is this possible? Their technology should not be capable of this. On the Lunar Command Center, Eric received the signal he had been waiting for. Phase 1 complete. Implement Phase 2. From behind Jupiter, hidden in the gas giant's powerful radiation belts that had masked their presence, Earth's main fleet emerged. These 7 ships represented the best technology humanity could produce, enhanced by the knowledge brought back from the Council station. "All ships, Combat Formation Delta," Eric ordered. "Target the flagship and command vessels only. Disabled, not destroyed." The Earth fleet moved with perfect coordination, using the chaos in the Council formation to their advantage. Their weapons, railguns firing projectiles at incredible speeds, energy beams derived from fusion technology, and more traditional missiles, overwhelmed the unprepared alien defenses. The Council ships, designed for intimidation rather than actual combat, found themselves in a situation none of their commanders had faced before. A real battle against an enemy who refused to be cowed. "Return fire," Zox Terran ordered, but many of his ships couldn't comply. The drones had disabled their weapons or targeting systems. Those that could fire often hit their own vessels due to the sensor confusion. In a precisely targeted strike, the Earth flagship, commanded by Eric himself, disabled the Council command ship's propulsion and communication systems without destroying the vessel. "This is Commander Eric Martinez of Earth Defense Force to Council flagship," Eric broadcast. "Your ship is disabled. Your fleet is in disarray. Stand down or face further consequences." On Earth, in cities and towns around the world, people watched live feeds from space telescopes and satellites. They saw the mighty Council fleet, which had arrived in perfect, intimidating order, now scattered and damaged, many ships drifting powerless. Paul Harris watched the tactical display, his face showing no emotion as years of planning came to fruition. Beside him, Kate Lawson received urgent communications from her alien contacts. "It's happening," she said, her voice filled with wonder. "The Trill, the Melokai, the Ixeri, they're rising up on the Council station and on their homeworlds. They're broadcasting the truth about the Council to all galactic civilizations." As Earth's ships surrounded the disabled Council flagship, Paul allowed himself a small smile. "Send the final message," he ordered. The message Earth sent to the galaxy changed everything. Using communication protocols provided by their alien allies, humanity broadcast evidence of the Council's long history of subjugation and resource theft. The transmission included data stolen by Olivia from the Council archives, testimony from oppressed species, and live footage of the battle that had just taken place. For centuries, the message began, a small group of species has ruled the Galactic Council through intimidation and fear. Today that ends. On thousands of worlds across the galaxy, beings of all kinds watched and listened. Many had never questioned the Council's authority. Others had suffered under it for generations. All were stunned by what they saw. On the disabled Council flagship, Zox Terran faced John Miller, who had been brought aboard from the Earth diplomatic vessel. The Queller leader's usually perfect composure was gone, his 4 arms trembling with rage or fear. "Do you understand what you've done?" Zox Terran demanded. "You've upset the balance of power that has kept peace for millennia." John's face remained calm. Was it really peace, or just submission? "Your species cannot possibly understand the complexities of galactic politics," Zox Terran said. You are too young, too primitive. Young, yes, John agreed. Primitive. I think the current situation suggests otherwise. He gestured to a nearby viewport, where disabled council ships drifted. We didn't want this conflict. You forced it upon us with your ultimatum. In the council station, revolution had broken out. The Trill, Melokai, Ixuri, and other oppressed species had seized control of key systems. Security forces loyal to the dominant species found themselves outnumbered by those they had long considered harmless. Kate Lawson coordinated with these rebel groups from Earth's command center, ensuring their efforts aligned with humanity's strategy. Her network, built in just 30 days, proved more effective than anyone had imagined. The Trill have control of the station's defensive systems, she reported to Paul. The Melokai have secured the communication hubs. And the Ixuri, she smiled. The Ixuri have opened the archives to all species. Every secret the Council kept is now public knowledge. On Earth, people celebrated as news of the victory spread. What had seemed like certain doom had turned into an unprecedented triumph. Humanity had not only survived its first interstellar conflict, but had emerged as a champion for freedom throughout the galaxy. 3 days after the battle, representatives from 17 galactic species arrived at Earth for emergency talks. These were not the dominant council members, but the lesser species who had suffered under their rule. They came not as conquerors or supplicants, but as equals seeking alliance. The meeting took place in the United Nations headquarters in New York, now expanded to accommodate visitors with different atmospheric and gravity needs. Paul, Kate, Olivia, John, and Eric sat with Earth's political leaders, facing the diverse group of aliens. Vila of the Trill spoke first, her skin glowing brightly with emotion. For 10,000 years, my people have served the Council. Today, because of Earth, we are free to choose our own path. One by one, the other representatives shared similar stories. The Melokai had been resource providers, their home system stripped of valuable minerals. The Ixuri had been forced to serve as technical experts while being denied the right to develop their own technologies. Others had faced even worse treatment. We propose a new accord, said the Melokai representative, a being with flowing tendrils and iridescent scales. Not a council ruled by the oldest and strongest, but an alliance of equals, each species contributing according to their abilities, each benefiting according to their needs. With Earth as a founding member, added Vila, your courage showed us all what was possible. The talks continued for weeks. The former dominant council species initially threatened retaliation, but their position had weakened. Many of their own citizens, seeing the truth about their leaders' actions, demanded change. Some worlds experienced peaceful revolutions, others reformed gradually, but the old power structure crumbled. 6 months after the failed intimidation of Earth, the new Galactic Alliance was formally established. Unlike the hierarchical council, it operated on principles of equality and mutual benefit. Technologies that had been hoarded by the dominant species were now shared. Trade routes that had been controlled by the few were open to all. On the day the Alliance Charter was signed, Captain Lisa Warren, whose first contact had started everything, stood aboard a new Earth ship preparing for its maiden voyage. Beside her were representatives from 12 alien species, part of a joint scientific mission to explore unknown regions of the galaxy. Did you ever imagine it would turn out like this? Asked Vila, who had become a close friend. Lisa shook her head. When I first met the Veldari, I thought we were joining a peaceful, advanced community of worlds. I never expected we'd end up leading a galactic revolution. That's why it worked, Vela said, her glow pulsing gently. The Queller, the Drak, and the others couldn't imagine it either. They saw your weapons and wars and thought they understood humanity. But they missed what makes your species truly dangerous. Which is? Lisa asked. Hope, Vela replied simply. You never stop believing things can be better, and you're willing to fight for that belief. As their ship accelerated toward the stars, Lisa reflected on how quickly everything had changed. The Council had tried to intimidate Earth, expecting submission or feudal resistance. Instead, their actions had unleashed something unprecedented, a force for change that had transformed the galaxy. It had backfired spectacularly, and humanity was just getting started.